This is a moment in Jewish history. I am your host, Ben Bresky, and this week we have a special interview about the Rockefeller Museum, which I visited recently. Now, when I tell people I went there, they say, "You mean in New York?" But it's actually right here in Jerusalem. I always wanted to go, but because it's in an obscure part of Jerusalem, I never had the opportunity. Then it was shut down due to Corona, and then the war, and now this year it's finally been reopened to guided tours. When the British first opened the Rockefeller Museum back in 1938, it was unique to display artifacts that were found in the country they were found in, as opposed to being shipped back to Europe and displayed over there. The building is owned by the Israel Antiquities Authority and was managed by the Israel Museum. This summer, the Tower of David Museum in Jerusalem's Old City proposed that they arrange guided tours. That idea came from Eilat Lieber, director and chief curator of the Tower of David Museum. She first fell in love with the Rockefeller Museum when she was an 18-year-old student studying in Jerusalem.
We came with the idea to the Israeli Antiquities Authority that's actually responsible for the building. We suggested to reopen the museum especially for guided tours, and they loved the idea. So now the project is a collaboration between the Tower of David Jerusalem Museum and the Israeli Antiquities Authority. I really don't know what will be the future of this museum, but meanwhile, we wanted to be able to show visitors the treasures in this museum. We have a beautiful plan of guided tours in the city. We're taking people for special tours to meet with communities, to see the deep layers of the history of the city by visiting historical buildings, houses, communities in the Jewish quarter, in the Christian quarter, in the Muslim quarter, and the historical neighborhoods of the Western city. So part of this plan, the Rockefeller Museum guided tours became very, very popular because it's the only opportunity to visit.
And what kind of people end up going on these tours? Is it tourists from abroad or Israelis or young people?
Actually, all of them. First, all the tour guides came because during the war, they had a lot of time and it was a good opportunity to remember and visit again this beautiful building and collection. But then many people came from all over the country. I think we also did some English tours. The first tourists coming after the war are also part of this project.
Was the museum also shut down during the Corona pandemic?
Yes, absolutely. Just like many other museums all over the world, this museum was shut down. And I must say that the situation there is really complicated because, this building was built in 1938 during the British Mandate. It's a very beautiful and unique building, but the infrastructure is pretty old. Electricity regarding, air condition, it's quite neglected. It needs an upgrade and renovation project. Still, it's a very beautiful building and the collection is very important because it's kind of a very important chapter in the history of museology. For us as curators and historians, it's part of the story of Jerusalem, the building and the collection. Of course, there's an amazing story behind the whole museum. It's the first archaeological museum in what we call Palestine, Israel before the State of Israel. The first archaeologists during British Mandate did many excavations all over the country, and all the finds actually represented there. As I say, from 1938 till the War of 48. So it became a very important museum to the history of Israel. And it's still there. I mean, the collection is unbelievable. You can find very, very unique stories from 9,000 years ago. We have a beautiful menorah from the old synagogue, ancient synagogue, Ishtamoa from Byzantine period, 4th century. The wood doors of the Haram el-Sharif from early Islamic period, 7th century. We have beautiful reliefs from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and many, many others. The collection is beautiful. I think the most impressive part of the collection is from the Umayyad Hisham Palace in Jericho. This is also from 7th century. All the beautiful statues and remains and mosaics are presented in the Rockefeller Museum. And it's still closed to the public, full of dust. The only opportunity to visit is through the guided tours of the Tower of David. And we're really happy that people are interested and the tours are sold out.
Now, where did you grow up, and did you ever visit the museum maybe in your childhood?
I grew up in Beersheba. I actually loved always museums, and I remember the Negev Museum in the old mosque of Beersheba. But I came to Jerusalem when I was 18 to serve in the Society of Protection of Nature. There was a special center in the Russian compound called the Jerusalem Field School. And we took school children and soldiers to guided tours in Jerusalem. And of course, we also visited the Rockefeller Museum. And I really thought always that this building is one of the most beautiful buildings I ever saw. I really learned a lot about the architecture. And I learned that the architects tried to combine many inspiration from different beautiful fortresses and palaces all over the world. For example, the inner courtyard, there's a beautiful pool that he took inspiration from Alhambra Palace in Granada. And all the Oriental arches are inspiration from what he learned about the Jewish temple. So it's kind of an eclectic architecture built thanks to the donation of the Rockefeller family. John Rockefeller Jr. donated $2 million to build this beautiful museum. As I said, the first archaeological museum in Israel. It's interesting to know that he never visited this building. But it became a milestone in the architecture of Jerusalem. And I also learned in the Bezalel Academy of Art when I took industrial design, but one of our courses was graphic design. So I learned that the Hebrew letters written on the wall there in the Rockefeller Museum are a very unique type of Hebrew letters that you cannot see anywhere else but the Rockefeller. So from many aspects, architectural and design and archaeology, it's one of the jewels of Jerusalem that we must preserve for the next generations to the future.
Do you have any stories or inspiring stories has anyone come up to you and surprised you on the tours?
No, but it's always funny that people think that they can use the building for different purposes, for weddings or for parties, because it's such an impressive building with a beautiful courtyard and a garden around it. So they asked to use it for personal purposes. And I always said that actually this building still belongs to the government. It's not private, but you can see the passion of the people toward this building. And it's also a very unique area. It's right in front Herod's Gate, near Damascus Gate. It's a very busy area. It's still fascinating and different. People feel that they took a plane and they are somewhere abroad, they're not in Jerusalem. And I can say that people are always saying that when they open a beautiful door, they are inside a different and full of inspiration area. But this is Jerusalem. This is Jerusalem. Every gate will lead you to another and different world.
We've been talking to Eilat Lieber, and I appreciate you coming on and talking with us. I could ask you more questions about the exhibits that I saw there, but I know you got to go. But do you have any final words that you want to share with the audience?
Yes, I really want to make the audience curious about the collection. So I can promise you, if you will visit Rockefeller, you will find the most beautiful gold jewelry from Jerusalem, from First Temple period. So for you who love jewelry, you will see an amazing collection, beautiful, beautiful gold. And think about Jerusalem during the First Temple period, we always see stones and walls and, remains of houses, but to see the jewelry, so it's almost, you can meet the people of Jerusalem. It's beautiful.
I remember looking at that jewelry during my recent tour, and I was thinking, some of this looks modern. Some of this is in the style that you would find in a store today. Wait, is this really from would it be 3,000 years ago? It looks bright and colorful.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But this is still very beautiful, and you can see the really connection between us and the people of Jerusalem many, many years ago. We are still love the same things.
Okay, Eilat, thank you very much for coming on with us.
Thank you.
Thank you to Eilat Lieber, and thank you to Itai Gat, who was my tour guide during my visit to the museum. If you want to schedule a tour, go to the Tower of David website at tod.org.il. Thank you to Carolyn Shapiro, Director of External Affairs at the Tower of David, and thank you to the Eisenberg family, who took me to the museum and are supporters of this podcast. If you would like to support the show, check out my website at benbresky.substack.com and subscribe. This has been a moment in Jewish history. Thank you for listening, and shalom.